Hello and welcome to the next video of my LCS 2024 preview series where we cover Shopify Rebellion, the new squad to the LCS. They are replacing TSM, formerly known as Team Solo Mid. Brand new organization, so there's nothing to go off of the last 3 years. Not to mention the majority of this roster is brand new anyways. They swapped out Haunter, Wild Turtle, and Chime for Fake God, Bevoy, and Zazel. So, average age of this roster is 24.4 years old. It's one of the oldest ones in the 4 major regions. Fake God is 23 years old. You'll see that 3 players on here have 98 games played. That's because they played in Academy on the same team. In those 98 games, Fake God had a 4.3 KDA, 7.9 CS per minute, 55.2 KP, more of a facilitator and weak side player. And then would just get involved in team fights. 21.2 gold share, 509 damage per minute, which is 21.5% of his team's damage. That is also an indicator of a feisty squad in Academy. At 15 minutes, he was ahead. 250 gold, 3 CS, 260 XP, 38 solo kills, 18 champions played in those 98 games. But like I said, it was in Academy, so it's at a lower level of play. We have to think back to when Fake God made his debut on Dignitas. It was rough. Actually, he might have made his debut on 100 Thieves before going to Dignitas. Actually, I believe that's how that went. His dig times were tough. But then again, really can't blame him for being on Dig because everybody on Dig has not been very good, right? So, Renekton, Jax, K'Sante, the standard 3, are just under half of his total games played. In the jungle is Boogie at 25 years old, a journeyman, Korean import, played in multiple minor regions, and is in the LCS. And last year, I thought he did well as a facilitator. 46 games, 2.9 KDA, 5.1 CS per minute, but nearly a 79% KP. So almost 4 out of every 5 kills for TSM he was involved in, and I think that's a big deal. The team had a very different vibe to it with Insanity in mid because, honestly, Revan just threw Insanity some crazy ass picks in mid, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. And it was a totally different vibe than when they had Maple, because Maple, of course, very stoic mid laner, world class mid laner, one of the you could argue maybe the greatest minor region mid laner of all time. So it's a very different vibe when you swapped there. 18.4 gold share, 336 damage per minute, which was almost 16% of damage. On average, he gave up quite a bit at 15 minutes. 205 gold, 8 CS, 215 XP. But he also made things happen. Instead, 2 solo kills, 12 champions played. Sejuani, Maokai, Wukong, 52% of his games. Behind him is Tomio at 20 years old. He also played on that, I think it's Disguised Toasts team, I believe. So 98 games, 6 KDA, 5.5 CS per minute, 72.8 KP. I thought he did very well based on these stats at that level. 18.5 gold share, 379 damage per minute, which is 15.8% of damage. Makes sense given Fake God's got a ton of damage that Tomio would as well. Tomio played with Evil Geniuses, if I recall, in their academy system over the last little while before this time in academy with Disguised Toasts team. At 15 minutes, slightly ahead of academy junglers, 5 gold, 1 CS, 85 XP, 8 solo kills, 16 champions, played by far the youngest player at all on this roster. Very old. Insanity, 24 years old. Played half of the season in Academy, and then would play with TSM in summer for 25 games. And they were crazy, to say the least. So 3.1 KDA, 8.5 CS per minute, 70 KP. Those would all feel pretty average. But at the same time, his picks were wild. So 22.8 gold share. That's a lot. 633 DPM, 29% of his team's damage. Insanity was the carry for TSM last year because of his picks. At 15 minutes, he's actually behind. 375 gold, 6 CS, 145 XP, playing these hyper-scaling 80 carries and things like that in mid lane, giving up a bit to have something for late game. 2 solo kills, 13 champions played. His three most picked champs are Jace, Tristana, Kesa, accounting for 56% of 44% of his games. He also played Graves 3 times in mid lane, the only person to really pull out Graves mid. We did see Graves top at Worlds out of the Shy, but mid lane, not so much, except TSM, who just kept pulling it out game after game, and they're like, we're going to keep playing it until you stop it. And then even after they stopped it, they kept playing it, which was interesting. Very heavy 80 carry mid lane vibe on this team. It was quite a ride for TSM. B-Voy, 26 years old. He's been around the block. Played in a lot of minor regions. Played in the LPL for a split, the LEC for a split. Hell, all he's missing is Korea after this one, and he would be able to complete the, I don't know, there's trifecta, so what, quadfecta? I don't know. 66 games last year in Brazil, so lower level of play. I would consider it higher than Academy in North America, but lower than LCS. 5.4 KDA, 9.7 CS per minute, 73.2 KP. His team fought around him, which you oftentimes see with a Korean import 80 carry. 25.2 gold share, 706 damage per minute, which is 31% of his team's damage. Like I said, that's typical of a Korean import 80 carry, especially in Brazil. We saw it with Root. We've seen it with others in the past. Hell, we see it with Fnatic and Noah, C9 and Berserker. You play around your Korean 80 carry because usually their hands are just outright better than, there's a reason why you're importing this player, right? So frankly, it doesn't even have to be a Korean import. It could be a Chinese import. It could be a European import. It could be, North America really doesn't import out, huh? But you get my point. So, hands diff there. Deals a lot of damage in the late game, I'm sure. At 15 minutes, I had 100 gold, 3 CS, 100 XP, 8 solo kills, 11 champions played. Zaya Zeri Kesa, 56% of his games. Support is Zazel, 24 years old. Played with Cloud9, if you recall. I thought he did very well with Cloud9. It was kind of a weird situation why he got the boot. He actually was coaching, I believe, in 2022, and then returned to playing in 2023 with this Disguised Toast team. 98 games, 6.5 KDA, 75.8 KP. Very involved. Fighting with Tomio, making things happen around the Rift, and not dying. We see a lot of supports with terrible KDAs when they're involved so much. Zazel somehow staying alive. 169 damage per minute, 3 vision score per minute, placed 7.5 wards every 5 minutes, 2 control wards every 5 minutes, cleared 1 ward every 3 minutes. 17 champions played. Rakan, Nami, Rel, 50% of the games. Coach is Revan. Revan is accredited at the major region tier 1 level to be on Cloud9 staff as well as TSM's at times. So 21-15 in the regular season, 19-16 in individual games and playoffs, and 1-5 at international events, Worlds 2022 with Cloud9. So this roster, very reminiscent, honestly, of TSM's last year, right? A lot of older players that you were just kind of like, oh, what are we doing? Wild Turtle Chime? Hanser? Maple? Wow. So, kind of did that again. But I think there's a little more interest here. Let's see if Fake God can return to form. Boogie, I always thought was one of the better minor region Korean import junglers. We saw it in Latin America, him just 1v9 pretty much all the time. So to see him not actually 1v9ing was crazy. Insanity, will there be crazy picks? B-Voy, I mean, this is a really... B-Voy's picking up B-Voy was always an interesting thing to me because we saw many other import 80 carries that aren't like highly sought after as options. Hansam D, why not? Loken, I guess. Shoot, I mean, we could. I could say, oh, we could go down a list, but then again, I'm not naming it anymore, am I? I'm sure if I had the list in front of me, I could be like, oh, well, here are like a handful. But it was an interesting decision, to say the least. Or even go get I don't know, go get Rahel from D Plus Kia. Or go get Smash or Hype or, well, Diablo ain't coming anytime soon over here. He's going to be Live Sandbox's, Fear X's crown jewel prospect for a while, but I think you're getting my drift here with the whole B-Boy thing. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.